Okay, guys, this video is about Noella Bergener and Sweet James and all the new gossip that's just come out. I am not a fan of either of them. I don't care about them at all. I'm just telling you the gossip and giving you my opinion on it. I say that because in this video, you're going to go on a journey and you're going to say, oh my God, Dana's pro Noella. And then you're going to go, oh no, she's pro Sweet James. And then you're going to realize at the end, I don't care about either of them. I'm just reporting on it from my perspective. Okay. So I just want to save you guys time. Okay. Ready? Let's get into it. Oh, hit the notification button and subscribe because I need more subscribers. Yay. Okay. Let's do this. Hey, you guys. So I just got sent Noella's husband, Sweet James, TikTok that he left about all the bad things that Noella is saying to him. Now, I actually thought, I just left a bonus audio last Tuesday on the Patreon where I was talking about this, that, you know, Noella kind of was misrepresenting what was happening with her husband on the show because Sweet James actually did file divorce, but only after Noella had filed for legal separation. And because, of course, on the Patreon, we cover everything in such detail on Dishing Drama Dana, like it's hard, you know, it's hard to get things by us on there. Okay. And so when she played the victim with him filing divorce against her, I was like, that's just not true. She wasn't blindsided, as she said on the show, because she filed for separation first. Anyway, he did a TikTok video to try to address some of the claims that have been made against him. And I'm going to play it for you and comment on it because I think I have a really lot of insight on the particular things he's talking about. And I actually agree with him. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so here it is.
Hello, James Bergener here. I just wanted to clear up another issue. My divorce from Noella was granted December 8th here in Puerto Rico. It is something I never wish I had to do. I have always been supportive of Noella and all that she has wanted to accomplish as she has been with me. Her dream was always to be on the show. In fact, years ago when we were looking for places to live, the house had to be vetted to make sure that she could film for Housewives if she ever got on the show. I was so happy when she got on the show. She was ecstatic. As filming got closer and closer, though, she changed. Her sole focus became the show. We rarely spoke, and when we did, it ended up in fights. She retained an attorney, and then shortly thereafter, the attorney reached out to me and said Noella is filing for separation. I had to leave. At that time, it was clear that Noella chose the show over me and the family. I love Noella, but I do not know who she is anymore. I grew up a very conservative Puritan background with Noella. I explored a world of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We went down a very unhealthy path. And I lost almost everything, including myself. I lost sight of who I was and who I am. Since our separation, I am healthy and happy. I have focused on being a better person, living a better lifestyle for myself, for my son. I take full responsibility for my actions, for my shortcomings, for my faults. I am working on them daily. I will continue to work on them. I wish nothing but the best for Noella. I hope she is able to achieve all the dreams that she has, and I hope that she is healthy and happy too.
Okay, so, well, we got a few juicy tidbits in that video, you know, that obviously he feels like he abandoned himself when he was with Noella because she was kind of a party girl, basically, and into all this like crazy lifestyle, which for a while he was into too, but he didn't feel like, you know, it was really who he was. I wanted to say that I do believe him. I believe that, I don't know if he's, you know, was really conservative when she met him. So what can I tell you from being on the show? Because that's probably why you're watching this video at this point. I can tell you that it is all-encompassing, meaning when you get casted on the show, it becomes your only thought. When you go on the show, it becomes your only thought. It ruins a lot of relationships. I've said this on the Patreon before, between a husband and wife, because they don't, like, the show takes over. And you do something on camera, and before it even airs, and all you can do is talk about what you did on camera and how you're worried about it, or you're scared, or you're stressed, or you loved it, or you can't believe it, or so-and-so came for you. It becomes like a soap opera off the show that your significant other is forced to listen to constantly. And it may not even air what you're worried about. And you're still talking about it. And it's every second. And then you're drinking all the time. So as a friend of or a cast member, you're invited to all these things because it's for them, it's, Bravo doesn't care. It's free footage. So I was like, they never, they'll say like, oh, don't invite her, or go over to so-and-so's house. You're invited. And that stuff is produced, right? But they're never going to say, oh, don't come, to a group event or something, even if you're a friend of, because it's free footage. And like, if something happens, it's really great. That's all they care about. You know what I mean? Like if you're willing to go, they're willing to tape it, really. But anyway, so it's really hard, I would imagine, for Sweet James, because he spent a lot of money being like kind of a well-known personality in Orange County as an attorney. And I think he's probably a little bit jealous in a way of Noella's fame, right? Because if you're a guy and you have any kind of ego, you're going to struggle with your wife being on this show because, especially if you like to be front and center. I'm not saying that he wanted to be, a housewife, but he may not have wanted her to steal all the limelight in the relationship. And really his only option is to become like a housewife husband, which you're depicted on the show. But let's face it, the way that the house husbands are always depicted, generally speaking, as, kind of the brunt of a joke, or they're depicted as like a sex symbol, or they're depicted as like weird or kind of geeky. And, I don't know. It's just not generally very flattering. Let's just say that. Okay. So, I just feel like in this particular instance, Sweet James was like, this is a lose-lose for me. I also think that the fact that he was aware that Noella's sole purpose was to get on the show, kind of probably scared him a little about like her character. So here's the thing that I do know about Sweet James after watching his TikTok, and that is that he wants to take back what he's given her, although he's saying he doesn't, which is the show. So he's definitely coming for Noella from the standpoint of he is going to take away all of her fancy house and all of her money and all of this stuff. I mean, outside of obviously supporting her son and whatever she can fight him for. But I'd say since he's now a resident of Puerto Rico, it's not going to be easy. What I read between the lines on this TikTok video is that let's see how you do on The Real Housewives of Orange County with no lifestyle and how long that lasts for you. And we shall see, because certainly we've seen some housewives like Brandi Glanville survive a few seasons on their outrageous ways, but generally speaking, they always go back to their roots, which is wealth. What do we know about Noella is that she was friends with Bronwyn and purportedly used Bronwyn to get the casting on the show and get the show. And then they had a huge falling out because I think Bronwyn became aware that Noella was using her to get on the show and not really a friend. We know that Noella has said things on camera that weren't accurate in what was happening, real time. And we know that Noella now, from her husband's standpoint, is obviously a big party girl, but her sole purpose was really to like almost like a psychotic degree, no offense, but like I can't even imagine buying a house for the purpose of wanting to be on a show, or renting a house, which is what she's doing. She didn't buy it, she rented it for the purpose of the show. That makes me believe like that dungeon and all this other stuff, like maybe this was all antics. Another one bites the dust. Very hard to survive as a married couple with the housewives, for sure. I just wanted to say what Sweet James was saying made so much sense to me. It really is, it is sickening how much you think about the show and you talk about the show and you worry about the show and how much the show creeps into every single aspect of your life to the point where it's like an obsession when you're on it. And the existing husbands that have been able to be with housewives for years, like Gorga and Mauricio, like, hats off to them, because I don't know how they do it, except maybe the wives, because they're, they I don't know, like maybe they don't worry about it like other people do, and they don't worry about their plot points and their storylines and what they're doing on camera. They're like disconnected. Maybe that's the magic. Noella's been, on TV for years in other countries, and I think she has always had the intention of being a TV personality, and for her, this was finally her big break to break through in America. And I'd say nothing is going to stop her at this point. She's going to run with this football. But I will say this, at what cost? I think a lot of women get on the show and they think they've found some sort of gold pot at the end of the rainbow. And it, I guess for some people it can be, but generally, even like, look how Bethany Frankel, she really got probably the biggest pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And even that, she's still not, that happy with Housewives, right? She's been, she goes back on as she needs to, but she doesn't enjoy it, I don't think. Look what Teresa said on Ultimate Girl Trip. Sweet James also came out with a video that Noella put on her Instagram feed, where he talked about how they had their baby in the foreign country of Georgia through a surrogate, and that Noella had tried to do IVF treatments, and that Sweet James had never been able to conceive a child with his previous wife, I guess. And so I guess he was thanking her for going through all that and didn't want to wish her any ill will. But what he's going to find, of course, that everyone does, is that the wave of Bravo fans is so strong and the opinions are so strong that if he doesn't stick up for himself publicly, he's going to get steamrolled. So pretty soon we're going to hear everything about Noella, because Sweet James is going to basically have to say it, because frankly, it's, the world will crush him otherwise. So, but what I did want to say is he better pay child support. Okay, so Noella wrote on her Instagram, "Today my ex called me for the first time in 5 months. He asked for my help with his PR. I said, of course. I told him to stop holding up support, get his son a gift for Christmas, and that I was going to use my settlement to buy a home for our family, and I'd publicly thank him. Hours later, he posted this. I don't know why this is happening. I was very protective of him during filming and focused solely on my journey. Aforementioned receipts. No, they are real, criminal, and horrifying to relive. So for the sake of our son, don't ever want them to see the light of day. Happy holidays, no gift Christmas. Lie, that I chose the show over our marriage. James wanted me on the show to promote his brand. He was my biggest cheerleader throughout the process. Only after his background check revealed he had lied to me for years about it. Did he hesitate? At this point, 4 days before filming, it was too late to pull out, and frankly, the show was the only thing keeping him honest." Okay, I'm going to call this bullshit, what she wrote here. Sorry, Noelle, but I'm calling bullshit on this one. Lie. I was going to file for separation, which made him file for divorce. It isn't a lie, because that actually came out publicly. And in a document, it showed that she filed for it first. So I'm really confused by this. She said, I retained an attorney with his blessing. He paid the retainer. What James was telling me about his partner's indictment, financial divorce from his ex, and his tax debts didn't make sense to me. I wanted a third party to confirm he was being truthful. He wasn't, but I still did not file. He didn't file for divorce. She did file for separation, though. I'm so confused. But let's just say the indictment of the partner was dropped. You guys should know that. It was dropped. I cover it in the Patreon. Also, to be clear, Ronald Richards was the one who found the tax liens on her husband and made it public. So they may have found out they wouldn't have found out in a criminal background check, but they would have found out in a credit background check. So I don't know, Noella. I think Ronald Richards was the one who actually busted the tax debt, because that's when you reached out to him, remember? So I'm a little confused. Remember you reached out to Ronald about it publicly on the Twitter? I don't know. Something's fishy. I don't care what he has to do to get over to pay for his child, but he better do it. So now Noella's, I believe, this is my secret belief that I will only say here, and this is my opinion only. I believe Noella wanted to sell the Puerto Rican house, if they own it, which is where Sweet James is, to get the half of the house versus really to get Sweet James out of his tax debt. I think she wanted the money, and she has a right to it, right? But I think that was like a ploy to get that to happen. I don't think Sweet James is going to buy her house, and I don't think Sweet James is going to do anything other than pay the child support that a judgment is allocated from, a court. But I do want to say this, Sweet James, if you get a judgment against you in Orange County for your child's care and you don't honor it, I personally will come for you on YouTube every opportunity I get. Okay, because I haven't gotten child support and I know what it does to a child. So if you're watching this video, just make note, you better pay it. All right, you guys, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And please leave me any GCT on here in the comments, or you can also DM me on my Instagram, Wilkie_Dana. I love talking to you guys, you know it. And if you haven't seen the live that we did for Christmas, you should go see it. There is so much juicy gossip in there, and I did update the description to include what we talk about in case you're curious. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your holiday.